the Great Northwoods to the Rock Mountain Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a beloved and historic Hancock County business was lost in a fire over the weekend. We'll learn more about how the community stepped in to help.
Plus, there's some big news regarding the Bangor Mall property. The mall seems to have a buyer.
And Habitat for Humanity welcomed an Oakland couple into their brand new home. We'll have that story coming up as well. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday morning. Happy April Fool's Day,
yes,
everybody.
April Fools.
We'll have those stories and more coming up. But first, to check that forecast. Kind of a messy start for some folks. Mostly rain here in the Bangor area, but I hear that up a little north and a little west of us could be an icy mix, a little snow, so you'll want to take it easy when you head out today.
Definitely be careful. Yeah. We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. We have a winter weather advisory that will last until 11 a.m. Wednesday for the counties. Highlighted here in the purple shade, some slippery roadways will be expected with a little bit of snow and some other frozen precipitation such as sleet and freezing rain passing through. We also have a small craft advisory lasting until 2 p.m. as we head towards our Thursday along the coast. Some high surf currently taking place too. Meanwhile, with the radar and satellite, you can see the frozen precipitation, snow to the north and other spots seeing some freezing rain. As we do move forward, we'll have some warmer temperatures which will allow things to improve. The last of the precipitation will be passing through this morning. As we do zoom things out, there is a last of it, so we'll be under a mostly cloudy sky coming up for the rest of the day as all of this tracks off towards the east. So futurecast moving forward, just clouds for the rest of the day. Later on tonight, not looking too bad. Then as we head towards your Thursday, looking pretty good as well. So your hourly forecast moving forward, we'll have clouds for the rest of the day. Temperatures in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. We'll look forward to that. Well, first this morning, a man from Stetson has gone on trial for an alleged murder that happened nearly 40 years ago. Mark Karen is accused of sexually assaulting and murdering an 11-year-old girl in Connecticut back in 1986. Karen is charged with murder, kidnapping, and murder with special circumstances in the death of Kathleen Flynn of Norwalk. Police say the sixth grader was reported missing on September 23, 1986, and was later discovered in the woods. An autopsy revealed she had been sexually assaulted and strangled. Karen was 21 at the time of Kathleen's death. News 12 reports that similar convictions and advancements in DNA technology led police to arrest Karen in June of 2019 at his residence in Maine. They say it's taken years for the case to go to trial, in part because of federal charges brought against him. The trial, which began on Monday, is anticipated to take up to 3 weeks. If convicted, the now 60-year-old faces the possibility of life without parole.
Well, meanwhile, a Bangor man is facing charges after police got a call about a man being injured with a bow. Bangor police spokesperson Katie England says it happened at a residence on Sydney Street at around 8:30 p.m. on March 29th. England says when officers arrived, they found a man with significant but non-life-threatening injuries to his face. She says officers determined that he had been injured when 55-year-old Scott Talbot of Bangor came over to sell him a compound bow and allegedly struck him in the face with the end of the weapon. The victim was transported to the hospital and treated. England says officers located Talbot and the bow that was allegedly involved. He is now being charged with aggravated assault with a dangerous weapon.
Meanwhile, a 22-year-old man has died following a 3-vehicle crash in the town of Raymond. It happened around 7:30 on Monday night near the intersection of Webb's Mill and Tarkin Hill Roads. Police say Seth Hodkins of Greenwood was driving a motorcycle when an SUV made a left turn into Hodkins' lane. He was thrown from the bike and then was struck by a pickup truck driven by a man from Casco. Hodkins died at the scene. Authorities say he was an EMT who always answered the call for help from others. The crash remains under investigation this morning.
Well, over the weekend, a beloved and historic Hancock County business was lost in a fire. But instead of a story about tragedy, our Alex Schley tells us why town officials say it's instead one that showcases the power of their community.
Tuesday, the sign outside the Open Hearth Inn in Trenton read, "Your home away from home." For more than a century, residents say that's exactly what it's been. A place of comfort for them and the thousands of visitors who have spent a night there over the years.
Mr. O'Sullivan's whole theory was, do what you can for the community and they'll stand by you, and that's kind of been the case. We had a power outage one Christmas for 4 days. He put people up, He's done stuff like that constantly for the community.
But just after 3 o'clock Saturday morning, the long-standing landmark along Route 3 caught fire.
When we got there, the middle section of the building was significantly involved. Automatically, we have 4 fire departments showing up. Okay. When we identified that I'm going to need more resources, I'm going to need more water.
In a town without fire hydrants, fire crews rely on tankers to shuttle water.
We could see the size of the facility, the amount of fire that would, how much it was spreading. We called for additional tankers.
And just like the inn's owners had done for them, in a time of crisis, the community showed up.
Pretty much everybody in Hancock County. And in the meantime, we have a lot of those departments are backfilling and covering for the departments that are already committed. Yeah. So it was a major fire service community effort to make sure that we had the resources we needed.
Despite the massive response, officials say the building is a total loss.
According to the fire marshal's office, they believe it was electrical in nature.
The owner was not available for comment. However, the staff says they do plan to rebuild. But when and what that will look like remains to be seen. In Trenton, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A new poll shows Graham Plattner has the lead in the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate. The poll by Emerson College shows Plattner with 55% and Janet Mills with 28%. 13% of those polled were undecided. In hypothetical general election matchups, both Plattner and Mills have an edge over incumbent Republican Senator Susan Collins. Between Plattner and Collins, 48% of support go to Plattner and 41% support Collins. In a matchup between Mills and Collins, 46% would vote for Mills and 43% for Collins.
Maine Republican lawmakers say there's no transparency and many deficiencies in state government. During their weekly press conference, they talked about the findings of the 2025 single-use audit report. House Minority Leader Billy Bob Falkingham said 10 out of 13 programs have problems, including Medicaid, SNAP, and child nutrition.
If this was a reading proficiency test, they wouldn't be getting a C or a D or even an F. They wouldn't even know the alphabet. That's how bad this state government is performing.
Falkingham said the audit found 29 cases of dead people still getting benefits 75 days after their death, and 88 nursing home audits required by federal and state law that never happened.
In other news, a bill before lawmakers could change what optometrists are allowed to do. LD 1803 would amend Maine law and provide a more detailed explanation of optometry. Under current law, they are not allowed to do surgical procedures, but this bill would change that. Members of the Maine Society of Eye Physicians and Surgeons said eye surgeries are complex and it would put patient safety at risk.
Supporters argue that expanding surgical scope of optometry is necessary to improve access to care in Maine, but LD 1803 is part of a national push to authorize optometric surgery rather than a solution driven by Maine-specific needs. Fewer than half of U.S. states permit optometric eye surgery, and none of those states are in New England.
They say a survey found 75% of eye physicians and surgeons in Maine are able to offer a consultation within a month. They say there would be no increase in cataract surgeries, treatment for macular degeneration, or routine eye care.
Now, there's some big news happening involving the Bangor Mall property. According to Senator Joe Baldacci, the mall has a buyer. We spoke with Baldacci yesterday afternoon via text, and he confirmed that the property is under contract and in final negotiations with a local buyer. Namdar Realty Group has owned the property since 2019. And since then, they've been under scrutiny for various violations of city ordinances, which ended up with the group in court multiple times. There is currently no timeline on how that deal will move forward. We will keep you updated as things progress.
Online retail giant Amazon opened a delivery warehouse in Caribou last fall. Now the company is looking to expand operations in Waterville. The company is eyeing a parcel of land on the Waterville-Sydney town line near Junction Road for a 26-acre warehouse. They say it will add 150 to 200 jobs to the area. An information session was held last night to educate locals on the process and help answer any questions those in the city have. City leaders say they're excited about the economic growth opportunity.
They're putting themselves in a position to be able to get things to people faster, which I think is never a bad thing. The prospect of them moving in and bringing some infrastructure will help spur additional growth in that area.
However, some locals are expressing concerns, especially regarding working conditions and the environmental impact industrial construction could have.
Warehouse distribution centers pay is incredibly low. Workers in Missouri who work in one have described it as a prison. Jeff Bezos makes more than probably anyone in this entire building combined. Probably our grandparents and our parents too. I just can't believe that that company and him have our best interests at heart.
Amazon representatives say that this process is still in the very early stages and must get full approval from the Maine Department of Environmental Protection before beginning next steps. More information sessions and public meetings are expected to be held in the future.
Very interesting.
It is.
One of the on the bright side of all that,
Yeah.
I was talking before the show. My daughter lives down in South Carolina, and they have a warehouse there. You can order something in the morning, and it's there by noon.
Yeah.
So that's pretty handy to have
That's a plus,
too.
for sure. Well, the time now is 6:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the town of WVII is in the spotlight with their community school winning a big award.
We'll tell you all about it coming up. But first, another check of that forecast. A messy start to the day today with a wintry mix and rain. Otherwise, a mostly cloudy day ahead with highs near 48 degrees. Mostly cloudy tonight with lows dropping down to around 33. And tomorrow, another mostly cloudy day, highs near 45 degrees. We'll be right back.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Located on Wilson Street in Brewer, Yoshi Japanese Restaurant, where you'll find only the best sushi, Asian favorites, and specialty crafted cocktails that will satisfy anyone. Try tatami seating for an immersive experience. Yoshi Japanese Restaurant, bringing delicious traditions to you.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
I got hurt in a car accident. Why should I call the twos?
Because when you're hurt, you need money. And I don't take tiny checks. I get my clients big checks. I got a client who injured their shoulder, a big check for $275,000. Another client had multiple broken bones, and I also got them a big check for $450,000.
Don't take a tiny check for your car wreck. Call the twos.
I'm your go-to guy.
It's back, Bangor. The Greater Bangor Area Music Showcase returns with the fan favorite music off-Broadway. Join Roger George and his talented musicians for an unforgettable show, all to support Rotary's work in our local community. Saturday, April 11th at 7 p.m. and Sunday, April 12th at 3 p.m. Getting your tickets is easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen. Bring your friends, bring your family, and enjoy a show that makes a difference. Don't miss it.
The town of WVII has a lot to be proud of. The WVII Community School has been named the best elementary middle school in the entire country. Education Insider magazine is an international publication, and they chose WVII as this year's winner. Principal Tim Tweedy says they were very surprised because they didn't even know they were in the running.
I'm sure that there's a lot of nice schools out there that are, also deserving of the award. But for us, it's just a little validation of the hard work that I see every single day.
Tweedy says it's not just about test scores. He says they find ways to bring the community and the region into the school, as well as taking the students out to experience learning. Tweedy says it has always been their goal to make the school a place where students want to be.
Well, congratulations to them. Meanwhile, residents in Blue Hill are expected to vote on whether to fund work related to the design, construction, and relocation of the new public safety building. The Blue Hill Fire Department and Peninsula Ambulance Corps seek to renovate and relocate the town-owned Tenny Hill site. The project would also include the construction of an additional apparatus bay. The vote will take place during the annual town meeting on Saturday. According to town officials, a yes vote would authorize the town treasurer and chair of the select board to issue more than $1.5 million in general obligation bonds for that proposed project. The fire department is welcoming the community to their current station ahead of the vote and learn why they believe the relocation is needed during an open house on Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Well, a couple in Oakland received a special welcome home yesterday as they were handed the keys to their brand new home, all thanks to a local nonprofit. The home built on Jake's Lane is courtesy of Habitat for Humanity, an organization that helps families build and improve homes. According to the executive director of the Waterville area Habitat for Humanity, over 300 volunteer hours went into building that property for locals Charlie and Katie.
The family, they're local in this area. Charlie and Katie. Charlie's actually a veteran. Katie, I love what she does. So the organization she works for, she actually helps other people in this community. And so I love that finally she gets a turn, you know, and she gets help. Part of it.
The project took roughly 3 years to complete. Irwin says this is now the 7th home the organization has built in that area.
How nice is that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, the time now is 6:16. After the break, President Trump has signed an executive order aimed at cracking down on mail-in voting. We'll have the details ahead.
Plus, a Skowhegan business is supporting kids in the community. We'll hear how about their book swap for a good cause as Good Morning Maine continues.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
I found the University Studies program, and the people were fantastic, and they helped me understand how I could really pretty easily become part of UMaine, become part of that program, and showed me that within about 2 years, I could have my degree. What I like about being able to study anywhere is probably this. I can literally be outside on the deck. I can be in my house. I can be in another country doing my schoolwork, and it just works really well for for the life that I have.
When you have everything you need to unlock your best workout, like free fitness training and best-in-class equipment, you can give everything you've got, all for just 1 cent down. Get stronger with free fitness training at Planet Fitness. Join for 1 cent down, $15 a month. No commitment. Deal ends Friday, April 10th.
You ready?
Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
A Skowhegan business is supporting kids in the community by collecting books for young readers ahead of the holidays.
Our Jody Hersey has more.
At Unwind on Water Street in Skowhegan, bar manager Samantha Hilton prepares for patrons to stop by for a drink, snack, or even a book or two at the business's most recent Boozy Book Swap.
When we host events like this, we bring people in that have never been here before, but it's been almost 5 years. So they'll come in, they're like, this is my first time here, this place is so great.
Alicia Lawrence of Litchfield is one of those first-time customers.
This is awesome. So this is the first book swap I've ever been to, but I really like it.
This book swap is not just a chance for readers to clear out their old books and pick up a new one. It's also an opportunity for the public to donate children's books to the Sweet Dreams Project, which was created by the Federated Church of Skowhegan 10 years ago.
We do a lot of different fundraising events. We've hosted different theme nights to raise funds for local nonprofits, fuel assistance and local food cupboards, stuff like that. Our book event today, we're gathering donations for the Sweet Dreams Project of children's books so that they can give those out during Christmas time with toys and PJs.
Amy Belmont of Clinton donated to the project.
I did. I brought a bunch of children's books. My youngest turned 24 today, so it's about time I cleaned out the children's books.
Fantasy and romance reader Brittany Lawrence of Pittston was also there.
It's sort of becoming cool to read books again, and that's not a bad thing.
Hilton says giving back to one's community is not a bad thing either.
I graduated Skowhegan, my parents did, my grandparents did. I think it's a great place to grow up, and it's a great town to be part of.
In Skowhegan, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
What a great program.
It is.
I've got a bunch of old books too.
I do too.
I ought to go through them.
I should clean them out.
Yeah.
Now let's get a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. That winter weather advisory will be dropping at around 11 a.m. this morning. We've had snow further off towards the north with other frozen precipitation such as freezing rain and sleet in other spots, rain further down toward the south as well. Also a small craft advisory lasting until 2 p.m. as we head towards your Thursday along the coast. Meanwhile, wave heights active at around 4 feet according to the buoys and a little bit higher farther off towards the north and east, while even farther out towards sea at around 8 to 12 feet. So the ocean definitely active out there as we head towards this morning. On land, you can see the frozen precipitation and the not so frozen precipitation. We have snow to the north, and there's that wintry mix of primarily sleet and freezing rain. Some normal rain could be mixing in as well, and perhaps a little bit of snow. All this right now is tracking off towards the east, so throughout the morning and into the afternoon, things will begin to calm down, and the day will be improving, especially as temperatures warm up. So once we get this through, we'll see things improve before we get more activity moving in. But meanwhile, Futurecast moving forward. Again, we're going to get this out of here. We'll have some improvement lasting for a bit. But later on, as we head towards your Friday, here we are with more activity Friday morning. Another wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow on the way for the state. This will be switching over to all rain as temperatures warm. But we won't get this out of here until about Saturday before things finally begin to improve. A little bit of snow farther off towards the north, but of course, ice will be another potential with this system. So again, we will need to keep an eye on this system. So there's that snow potential. Well, it will be primarily to the north at this point, but again, we will be monitoring that system as well. Upper 40s today, the wintry mix will be ending, will be mostly cloudy with that north wind at around 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mid-20s under a mostly cloudy sky and that north wind at around 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, mid-40s, still mostly cloudy, northeast wind at around 5 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Good Friday, a wintry mix switching over to all rain with highs in the upper 40s. Upper 40s again for your Saturday under a mostly cloudy sky. Easter Sunday, a chance for rain, highs in the mid-50s.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
ABC 7, Fox 22. The place we call home, telling Maine stories wherever you roam. From sunrise shores to forests of pine, hard work, strong hearts, values that shine. From old towns to harbors, back roads to ocean blue. Neighbors helping neighbors in all that we do. Through storms and clear skies, day after day, we're here with the stories that matter in Maine.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
There's one number you need to know. It's called Joe.
President Trump will address the nation tonight. The White House says he'll provide an important update on the war with Iran. There are new signs on both sides that the end may now be in sight. ABC's Olivia Rubin has more.
This morning, President Trump with this new timeline to end the war in Iran.
I would say that within 2 weeks, maybe 3, we're hitting them very hard. I think with 2 or 3 weeks, we'll leave.
In an apparent reversal, Trump saying the U.S. is prepared to leave Iran, even if the Strait of Hormuz is still closed to most ships.
We'll be leaving very soon, and if France or some other country wants to get oil or gas, they'll go up through the Strait and Hormuz Strait. They'll go right up there, and they'll be able to fend for themselves.
Iran's president also suggesting the end is in sight, saying we possess the necessary will to end this conflict, while calling for security guarantees. It comes after the U.S. attacked an Iranian military complex using multiple 2,000-pound bunker buster bombs. The Pentagon saying B-52 bombers are now flying deep into Iran, a sign that Iranian anti-aircraft systems are severely weakened. And more than a month into this conflict, Secretary of State Marco Rubio in a video explaining why the administration decided to go to war, still trying to make the case to the American people.
Many Americans are asking, why did the United States have to attack Iran now? Well, let me explain. Iran wants to have nuclear weapons. Of that, there is zero doubt.
Despite that progress, Iranian officials now threatening to target American companies in the Middle East. And right here at home, gas prices still rising, though President Trump insists they will come back down when the war is over. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, Israeli police officers gathered at a debris site in Tel Aviv on Wednesday morning after Israeli authorities said the city was impacted by a missile strike as the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran rages on. The Israeli Emergency Response Unit reported several injuries from the recent strike in its country, but did not provide further details on the locations. There were also no immediate reports of fatalities from Israeli authorities. Israel's military said air defense systems were operating to intercept threats as well. U.S. President Donald Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the end of the war in Iran could be near. Washington signaling potential for both direct talks with Tehran's leadership and a winding down of conflict even without a deal. The remarks underscored the shifting and at many times contradicted timelines and statements from Washington about how the war, now in its 5th week, may come to an end.
Well, President Trump is taking executive action in an effort to change the rules for mail-in voting. And he's also looking to create a national list of eligible voters. Legal challenges are already looming. Here's ABC's Lionel Moyes with the story.
This morning, President Trump has signed an executive order aimed at cracking down on mail-in voting. It would create a federal list of citizens eligible to vote and would change how mail-in ballots are processed. Trump, while signing the order, repeated unfounded claims of election fraud.
It's horrible what's gone on, and it's very clearly covered, very, very clearly. So I think this will help a lot with elections.
The order would change the design of mail-in ballots to require barcodes from the Postal Service on envelopes to make them easier to track.
If you voted by mail, you will have it on the envelope. Obviously not on the ballot, but on the envelope. So we will know 1 million mail-in ballots. There'll be 1 million envelopes, and you'll be able to know exactly, correctly, that citizens voted.
Each state would also have to provide a list of eligible voters receiving mail-in ballots at least 60 days before an election. If they don't comply, they could lose federal funding. Critics are already promising to challenge Trump's order in court. The ACLU saying the Constitution is very clear. Only Congress and the states can make laws regarding our elections. Senator Chuck Schumer saying, see you in court, you will lose.
I don't see how they can challenge it. And remember, it's about voter integrity. We want to have honest voting in our country. Because if you don't have honest voting, you can't have really a nation.
Meanwhile, another move by the Trump administration is making headlines, this time related to the investigation of anti-Semitism on college campuses. A judge is allowing the administration to collect a list of Jewish employees at the University of Pennsylvania. Reaction was swift online, critics expressing concern about where that list of Jewish names could end up. The university now plans to appeal. The University of Pennsylvania says it's committed to confronting anti-Semitism, but says it does not maintain employee lists by religion. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
Now to Tiger Woods seeking treatment, taking time away from golf as new details emerge about his DUI arrest. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
Less than a week after his DUI arrest in Florida, Tiger Woods breaking his silence. The 50-year-old saying he will now step away from golf to seek treatment and focus on my health. Woods saying, I know and understand the seriousness of the situation I find myself in today. Investigators say after flipping his SUV Friday, he told deputies he was looking down at his cell phone and changing the radio station and did not notice the vehicle in front of him had slowed down. But deputies noticed several signs of impairment, saying he had bloodshot eyes, his movement was lethargic and slow, he had hiccups, and struggled with field sobriety tests. Woods bringing up that he had 7 back surgeries and more than 20 surgeries on his knee. When deputies asked him about prescription medication, they say he answered, I take a few. Deputies later finding 2 white pills inside his pant pocket, determined to be hydrocodone, used for pain. In his new statement, Woods saying, I'm committed to taking the time needed to return in a healthier, stronger, and more focused place. There had been hope he would play in the upcoming Masters. A tournament official now saying, although Tiger will not be joining us in person next week, his presence will be felt here in Augusta. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Coming up on the second half of the newscast, the countdown is on as the U.S. prepares to send humans to moon for the first time in more than 50 years.
We'll have the story coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a 5th-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
When I was 29, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I think part of research and advocating for more money for cancer research allows survivors to have more time. Senator Collins supports and advocates for more funding for cancer research so that people can have better treatments, they can have better outcomes, and therefore they can live better lives as cancer survivors. Thank you, Senator Collins. Continue fighting for our families.
This morning, wake up with Zendaya right here on Good Morning America. I mean, hello. Plus, Brandy's here live this morning. Zendaya, Brandy.
Oh my God, yes.
Only on Good Morning America.
Half-off deals are waiting for you at foxbangor.com.
Last season, IndyCar champ Alex Palou rewrote the history books.
Can anyone catch it?
So what's next?
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. And as we said earlier, it's also April Fool's Day.
This is a day when many of us unleash our most creative sides in an attempt to bamboozle those around us. There's no consensus on how it all began, but it's believed it has to do with the Julian calendar, which saw every year begin on April 1st. Now it's a day to come up with safe and playful pranks to have a little fun with those around us.
Safe and playful are the key words.
Yes, safe.
It's supposed to be fun. You don't want to do
Yeah.
anything that's dangerous.
Right.
But why not have some fun?
Right. I think, sometimes I've had some pretty funny April Fool's pranks on me, and you just laugh it off.
Right.
And it's a good time.
Take everything with a grain of
Yes,
salt today
exactly.
and expect some hijinks.
Definitely.
This could be an interesting day. All right, time for some history. It was on this day back in 1748, the lost Roman city of Pompeii was rediscovered by a Spanish engineer. In 1891, the William Wrigley Company was founded in Chicago and became best known for its juicy fruit gum. Do you like juicy fruit gum?
I do, yes.
I haven't had it in years, but
Me either.
yeah, it's good stuff.
It is.
Yeah. All right, moving on. In 1945, on this date, American forces launched an amphibious invasion of Okinawa during World War II. They had hoped to seize the island as a base that could be used as an assault place for Japan. The battle would continue until June 22nd, killing nearly 250,000 people.
And in 1970, President Richard Nixon signed a measure that banned cigarette advertising on radio and television. The government determined advertisers had a responsibility to warn the public about the health hazards of smoking. Congress also passed the Cigarette Smoking Act, which required manufacturers to place warning labels on all of their products. And in 1976, Apple Computer was launched from Steve Jobs' garage and is now the largest publicly traded company in the U.S. In 1984, singer Marvin Gaye was shot and killed by his father after Gaye intervened in an argument between his parents. And in 1985, Nike released the first Air Jordan shoes and sold 450,000 pairs in the first month.
Some of those go for a lot of money, too.
Yeah, still very popular to this day, too. And lastly, in 2005, NASA celebrated April Fool's Day by telling the world they had found water on Mars.
Surprise! All right, for birthdays today, they include fighter, influencer, wrestler, singer. He does all kinds of things.
Social media,
Jake Paul, what's his name? Logan Paul. He is 31 years old today. Also beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Country singer Hillary Scott. You remember her from Lady Antebellum.
Yes.
She is 40 today. And Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito is 76 years old today. Happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today.
We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. We have a winter weather advisory that will last until 11 a.m. Wednesday for the counties. Highlighted here in the purple shade, some slippery roadways will be expected with a little bit of snow and some other frozen precipitation such as sleet and freezing rain passing through. We also have a small craft advisory lasting until 2 p.m. as we head towards our Thursday along the coast. Some high surf currently taking place too. Meanwhile, with the radar and satellite, you can see the frozen precipitation, snow to the north, and other spots seeing some freezing rain. As we do move forward, we'll have some warmer temperatures, which will allow things to improve. The last of the precipitation will be passing through this morning. As we do zoom things out, there is a last of it, so we'll be under a mostly cloudy sky coming up for the rest of the day as all of this tracks off towards the east. So futurecast moving forward, just clouds for the rest of the day. Later on tonight, not looking too bad. Then as we head towards your Thursday, looking pretty good as well. So your hourly forecast moving forward, we'll have clouds for the rest of the day. Temperatures in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. I got it wrong. What is it? Jake Paul is the guy that...
Yeah, so Jake Paul is Logan's younger brother,
Okay.
who's the one that fought Mike Tyson.
Okay.
And then Logan is the older one, and he does like WWE.
So he's a fighter too.
Yeah,
They
it's just a different realm.
All right. Hard to keep them all straight.
It is. Well, a woman in the San Francisco Bay Area turns plastic pill bottles into sunglasses. It started when Claire Ring posted on social media that she was collecting the bottles. People can send them directly to her or drop them off at 3 locations in the Bay Area. Ring uses a machine to grind the bottles. She sends the grounds to a manufacturer that produces the sunglass parts. Ring assembles the glasses in her home using lenses from Germany-based company And Ring's brand is called Cocoa Plum. Ring was originally melting and molding the plastic herself, but was only able to make 1 pair a day.
Wow,
that's pretty cool.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Huh, very neat.
Well, still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports.
Don't go away.
This is your reminder to thank the friend who gets McDonald's breakfast for the group while everyone else sleeps in.
Get our big breakfast with hotcakes for just $5 and an iced coffee for $1.29.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Jonathan Bush. He's a battle-tested trailblazer who's created over 900 jobs in Maine.
The jobs that Jonathan brought to Belfast were really transformative for so many families.
Now Bush wants to shake up Augusta. He'll slash wasteful spending and cut property and income taxes. A $1 billion tax cut for hardworking Mainers.
Jonathan is a big thinker with big ideas, but he actually makes them happen.
I'm Jonathan Bush. I look forward to earning your vote.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
They say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Well, they are correct.
Grab any size iced coffee for $1.29 and pair it with a bagel sandwich.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Welcome back in, folks. Last week, Piscataquis Community High School held an athletic honors night to celebrate the accomplishments of their athletes. Among those teams was the boys soccer team, who celebrated their recent state championship. They received an awesome surprise. The Pirates broke a 41-year streak without a state championship this fall when they went undefeated and won the 8-person state title. Normally, when a soccer team wins a state championship in Maine, they're presented with 1 gold ball for the school, and each player gets a championship jacket. But head coach Trey Gilbert went above and beyond this year. Gilbert shocked the team with their championship jackets, but also each player receiving their own gold ball replica in championship ring.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful because, like, Trey, he's such a good guy and stuff, and he's going to go above and beyond to get this stuff for us, and I just couldn't be more happy.
Gilbert funded the gold balls and championship rings entirely out of his own pocket, hoping to give the team keepsakes that they will cherish forever. PCHS athletic director says he's never seen anything like it.
He does so much, just donating, his time financially just to the district over the years. It's incredible. I've never seen a site like this before. We've been planning this pretty much since the season got done, and he told me everything he wanted to do, and I'm like, holy smokes, if you want to, okay. And so I was glad we were able to pull off a big surprise for the kids.
I mean, that is just incredible. How cool for those kids. We'll head to the Diamond now, where the Maine baseball team was looking to keep the momentum rolling following their first series win last weekend. Black Bears visiting number 22 Boston College on a Tuesday afternoon. We pick it up top of the 7th. Maine down 1, but Chris Bear pops one up deep to right field, which allows a run to score, and it's tied at 3. Still in the 7th, Juju Stevens is going to step up to the plate and deliver for his team. He gets the man on third home safely, and just like that, the Black Bears have a 4-3 lead late in the game. Bottom of the 7th now. Here come the Eagles. Runners on second and third. Timon Olfe records the sacrifice grounder as the runner on third got a great jump on contact. BC ties it up at 4. Then in the 8th, the Eagles would pull away. A great piece of hitting by Danny Saroyak, and the Boston College Eagles come back to win 7-4. We'll stay on the Diamond now and check in with the Boston Red Sox, who are not having the start to the season that they and their fans had hoped for. After defeating the Cincinnati Reds 3-1 on opening day, the Sox have fallen in 3 straight games, slotting them in last place in the American League East. Their first two losses also came to the Reds in games they lost by just one run in their latest game. However, it was a different story. The Houston Astros routed the Red Sox 8-1 in a game where Jarren Duran was the lone run scorer on Monday night. The Astros scored 3 home runs. Red Sox manager Alex Cora says he's not terribly worried because of how young the season is, but they need to pick it up before it's too late.
Honestly, can't say right now because it's only, 4 games into the season, but, can't chase in this league. That's how they make a living. Those guys on the mound, they get ahead and then they go to the edges. So we have to be better in that aspect.
Well, folks, they did not pick it up. The Sox struggles continued on Tuesday night. As you see right here, they fell to the Astros 9-2. Houston with 11 hits. The Sox just 4 and 2 runs crossing the plate, 2 errors as well on the defensive end. We bring it back to the East Coast, hoping to give you good news because the playoff hunt is on in the NHL as the season's winding down, making every game count for the Bruins. They played host to the Dallas Stars on Tuesday night. We picked this one up in the first period. A shot is ripped from the blue line because Nadinov is there to clean it up. That was a tough name right there to give the Bruins the lead. Bruins again in the first. Pasternak's going to pass. The puck finds him again. He puts it in front of the net where Victor Arvidsson taps in his 22nd of the year. Second period now. Stars are going to look to get back in it. The puck's going to be loose in front of the net. Kind of the story of the night. Jamie Benn is there to put it in and cut the lead in half. We're going to stay in the second after that Benn goal. It's the Stars looking to equalize. Now it's another opportunity right on the doorstep for Dallas. Matt Duchesne, he ties it up at 2. Then in the third, it would be all Bruins. Limholden, he's going to snipe it on the break as the Bees are heating up. They win 6-3. Bruins getting hot at the right time. You love to see it. That's all time for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snowblowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
When I had first left for college, I was super excited to start pursuing my dreams, and I had met so many amazing people my freshman year. Yeah, some days were really hard, balancing work life and classes, but most of them, they were the best of my life, because I had something not everyone gets. A dad inspiring me every step of the way, and I'm so happy to graduate beside you.
You provide it all. There's no challenge you can't take on, because you've already taken on everything. You've gone above and beyond. It feels like you've brought them together. It feels like your home is taken care of. It feels like you're all at the top of your game. And with Fidium Fiber Internet, you are.
It feels like Fidium.
Welcome back, everyone. Now to launch day for NASA's Artemis mission to the moon. We could just be hours away from a journey deeper into space than anyone's ever traveled before.
Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
The countdown is on as the U.S. prepares to send humans back to the moon for the first time in more than 50 years. At a time of deep division here on Earth, the 4 astronauts on Artemis 2 say they hope their 10-day mission will bring people together and inspire the next generation.
A young woman can look at Christina and just physicalize her passion or her interest, or even if it's not something she wants to do, she can just be like, girl power, and that's awesome. And that young brown boys and girls can look at me and go, hey, he looks like me and he's doing what? And that's great.
The rocket is taller than the Statue of Liberty. With 8.8 million pounds of thrust at liftoff, the crew will soar into space at 17,000 miles per hour. After liftoff, they'll orbit Earth, then travel past the far side of the moon, nearly 250,000 miles from home.
This is a plan. Get to the moon and
use the resources that are on the moon to build an outpost there. And this is going to prepare us to go to Mars and further into space someday.
The crew won't land on the moon, but the mission will help pave the way for a landing in 2028, beating China's planned lunar landing by 2 years. Here's what's ahead today. The fueling process is set to begin this morning at 7:34 Eastern and will take about 5 hours. The crew, already on mission time, will wake up around 9:45, have breakfast, and suit up. By mid-afternoon, they'll arrive at the launch pad. And at 6:24 tonight, the launch window opens. It's expected to draw 400,000 visitors to Kennedy Space Center, boosting the local economy. This store owner has printed 50,000 Artemis shirts. Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
Oh, that'll be exciting too.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything goes well.
I would love to go there and see that.
Well, you wouldn't want to go up in space though.
No, no, I wouldn't, but it would be cool to witness.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. That winter weather advisory will be dropping at around 11 a.m. this morning. We've had snow further off towards the north with other frozen precipitation such as freezing rain and sleet in other spots, rain further down toward the south as well. Also a small craft advisory lasting until 2 p.m. as we head towards your Thursday along the coast. Meanwhile, wave heights active at around 4 feet according to the buoys and a little bit higher farther off towards the north and east, while even farther out towards sea at around 8 to 12 feet. So the ocean definitely active out there as we head towards this morning. On land, you can see the frozen precipitation and the not so frozen precipitation. We have snow to the north, and there's that wintry mix of primarily sleet and freezing rain. Some normal rain could be mixing in as well, and perhaps a little bit of snow. All this right now is tracking off towards the east, so throughout the morning into the afternoon, things will begin to calm down, and the day will be improving, especially as temperatures warm up. So once we get this through, we'll see things improve before we get more activity moving in. But meanwhile, Futurecast moving forward. Again, we're going to get this out of here. We'll have some improvement lasting for a bit. But later on, as we head towards your Friday, here we are with more activity Friday morning. Another wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow on the way for the state. This will be switching over to all rain as temperatures warm. But we won't get this out of here until about Saturday before things finally begin to improve. A little bit of snow farther off towards the north, but of course, ice will be another potential with this system. So again, we will need to keep an eye on this system. So there's that snow potential, but it will be primarily to the north at this point. But again, we will be monitoring that system as well. Upper 40s today, the wintry mix will be ending, will be mostly cloudy with that north wind at around 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mid-20s under a mostly cloudy sky and that north wind at around 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, mid-40s, still mostly cloudy, northeast wind at around 5 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Good Friday, a wintry mix switching over to all rain with highs in the upper 40s. Upper 40s again for your Saturday under a mostly cloudy sky. Easter Sunday, a chance for rain, highs in the mid-50s.
Got old metal and junk cars? Turn that clutter into cash at Daddy and Daughters. We make recycling easy, fast, and fair. From Skowhegan to Dover Foxcroft, from Troy to Lee, you can trust our certified scales and friendly service, offering top prices for junk vehicles in Maine. Whether you drop off or we pick up, Daddy and Daughters covers Central and Eastern Maine. Come see us at one of our 4 locations and watch your scrap pay off. Daddy and Daughters turn scrap into cash.
With Maine's largest network of parts, Coastal Auto Parts keeps things moving. If it's got wheels and an engine, we've got the parts to keep it on the road. From work trucks to weekend rides, if it's on the road, we're behind it. At Coastal Auto Parts, we're driven by more than engines. We're powered by the people who count on us. Because serving our community is what keeps us going. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
Bob's is bringing the wow back. You can wait for a sale price, or you can get wow-worthy prices every day at Bob's. Like this Playday sectional for just $7.99, delivered in days. Or this real marble dining set in 2 finishes. And with our everyday low prices plus flexible financing options, your tax refund goes further at Bob's.
And with tons of styles ready to ship and old furniture removal, you can get your furniture fast and easy.
Wow! Oh my Bob!
Oh no, it's April Fool's Day.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh!
Damn, Bob, what'd you eat last night?
Next Jeopardy, a super champ ready for more.
He finds himself going for a record that has only been reached by 13 other players in Jeopardy history.
Or should he prepare for the end of his streak?
Only on ABC 7.
A Chicago zoo has a few new members strolling through its habitats. 10 African painted dog pups are now venturing outdoors for the first time. The large group of siblings is made up of 5 female and 5 males. The pups were born in late November and are already showing off their personalities with their parents. Caretakers at the zoo explain this is actually early training that would help the dogs build the tight-knit teamwork. Zoo officials say African painted pups change fur color from a dark black at birth into unique swirls of black, brown, gold, and white, with no 2 pups looking exactly the same.
I was going to say, they look really cool.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, Dunkin' isn't joking around this April Fool's Day. The coffee giant confirmed it will carry on its tradition of giving away 1 million free hot or iced coffees today in honor of April Fools. Except this year, Dunkin' says it will give away 1,000,001. Dunkin' Rewards members can redeem the free drink on the app with code Still Not a Joke. But fans better hurry. The promotion is capped at 1,000,001 coffee drinkers. The promo is valid for up to 7 days after entry.
You have to go to their app, though, I guess.
Yes, yeah, I think so.
Nice.
I forgot about it.
Yeah, nice thing to do, though.
Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22.
Thanks for being there, everyone. We hope you have a great day.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts.
Spring event with the 2025 Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into your local Honda dealer today.
At the County Federal Credit Union, we value the trust our members place in us to act in their best interest. Whether it's providing low rates on consumer loans or raising money to end hunger, we work hard to serve our members and the communities in which they live. We are excited to bring the meaningful and impactful work we do to all Mainers as we continue to grow. Wherever you are in life's journey, count on the county to be your financial partner.
When I had first left for college, I was super excited to start pursuing my dreams, and I had met so many amazing people my freshman year. Yeah, some days were really hard, balancing work life and classes, but most of them, they were the best of my life, because I had something not everyone gets. A dad inspiring me every step of the way, and I'm so happy to graduate beside you.
I know that you're sitting right in front of me, but can I say hi to Douglas?
Obviously.
Hey, gorgeous. Hi, Douglas.
Douglas is making this interview super fun.
When I rescued him, he was 8 weeks old.
I'm being licked right now.
Dougie's really the star.
Where does the dog go after the show?
My house.
Weekdays at 11 on Fox 22.
Bring on the spring at the Honda Spring Event with the 2025 Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into your local Honda dealer today.
Good Morning Maine on WFVX, Fox 22. From the Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a beloved and historic Hancock County business was lost to a fire over the weekend. We'll learn more about how the community stepped in to help.
Plus, there's some big news regarding the Bangor Mall property. The mall seems to have a buyer.
And Habitat for Humanity welcomed an Oakland couple into their brand new home. We'll have that story coming up as well.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll also bring you to a meeting that was held in Waterville last night, where people are learning about plans to build a new Amazon warehouse there.
Yeah.
It could create a bunch of new jobs there, so that's good news. But first, to check the forecast, kind of a messy way to start the day today.
It was, raining.
Mostly rain here in the Bangor area. The further north you go, there's